Hello everyone, welcome to MBA Karo. CAT 2023 is just 2 days away, and day after tomorrow, some of you must have already written this exam by now. So now you have already prepared for the examination. In the last 2 days, whatever you prepare is not going to matter because it is going to be the output of the efforts that you have put over the last 3, 6, 10, 12, whatever months you have been preparing for. What is now important is keeping in mind a few things so that you can maximize your performance. Now these here are the psychological factors. The academic factors are done with. You have already put in efforts and prepared well. Now it is about the mind game, how you play that mind game, how do you strategize your attempt. That is going to matter. So no matter what were your mock scores, if your mock scores were low, high, anything, it is not going to impact now. It is how you deal with the actual examination. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media platforms. Now, as I already said, it is not about aptitude, right? For aptitude, you have already prepared for a long time. You've been preparing for a good number of months. Now it is about attitude, that how do you deal with the exam. So if you want to be a peak performer, it is about aptitude plus attitude. Okay. So even if your aptitude is good, but your attitude is not good, then you are going to end up being a frustrated performer. Okay. Just in case your aptitude is okay and your attitude is uh, high, okay, you are going to do well. And if your aptitude is good and your attitude is good as well, you are going to be a peak performer. Many of the aspirants, they are good at aptitude, they practice a lot, everything is in place, but their attitude is not good and they end up becoming frustrated performers. Okay, so you need to keep in mind that now it is attitude game. You have to be mentally strong. You can take example from India versus Australia final. Okay, uh, preparation wise, both teams were good, right? They had good players, but what mattered was the attitude of the Australians, and they ended up winning the game. So here it is a game of aptitude. Now let's talk about some things that you must be doing and not doing in the last couple of days. Please revise the concepts, right? Just go through the formulae, just go through a list of theorems that you have of different topics. Okay, some keynotes that you might have prepared. You must relax, engage in some entertaining activity. Let's say you want to go for a movie, you can watch a movie. There is a movie, I think that's on Z5 by the name Goomer. If you wish to watch it, you can watch it. It's a good movie. Okay, I watched it recently. Eat and sleep well. Do not eat junk food. Do not overeat or undereat. Eat in proper nutrition. Okay, and take proper rest. Especially tonight, take ample rest because some of you might be having the examination day after tomorrow in the morning slot and you might have to rush early. So have proper sleep, enough sleep, at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Spend time with family, friends, okay, so that you do not feel tensed. Keep the admit card and photograph ready before the examination. So this is the admit card and you need to paste the same photograph in the admit card. So I've already done that. Okay, so please do ensure that you paste the admit card on time so that like you have the photos pasted on time, uh, to avoid any last minute hassle. Okay, so keep it ready and like if you have center somewhere else, reach there well on time, like if some other city, so ensure that you reach on time, have a look at the center, etc. And what not to do in these days is, do not learn a new concept, right? That's say, let's say you see something okay, this is like some new thing which I have come across, नया formula हो ये तो मुझे आता नहीं था. Just avoid that. This is just not going to impact you. Don't take any mock test now. Okay, whatever you have done, just rely on that. Do not solve any difficult questions. They are going to demotivate you. Okay, just go through easy, moderate questions. Just revise the questions that you have done in mocks. Do not start predicting the exam. Okay, कोई भी ऐसे last year कितना कट ऑफ था, ये था, that is all irrelevant now. Okay, because every year it depends on the difficulty level of the paper. Okay, so at the same score, let's say what you got 95 this time, you might get just 90 this time. Okay, so do not compare those last year stats. They are just to evaluate कि अगर आप past year paper देते हो and want to evaluate where did you stand. For that reason the scores are relevant, but not for this year's paper. Do not predict the exam. That is the biggest mistake students do. They just target certain score. Okay, try to maximize your performance in the exam. ठीक है, do not think कि नहीं मेरे को 8 क्वेश्चन करने हैं, 10 क्वेश्चन करने हैं. अगर 12 अटेम्प्ट हो रहे हैं तो 12 करके आओ. Okay, on the other hand, if you feel that okay the paper is very difficult, don't panic. Attempt whatever you can. Even if you attempt 7 questions, maybe what score you would get at 10 you might get at 7 itself. So do not predict anything, give your best in the exam. Now section wise, how you should be tackling the questions. Okay, VRC, in the RC passages, what students commit a mistake is they think ये passage easy है तो attempt करते हैं. Do not just read the passage, also see the questions. If you have inference based double negatives, the ones, these are the tricky questions. Inference based double negatives, right? The author will not agree to all of the following except. Okay, so double negatives, these are tricky to read and answer as well. तो ये double negatives हो गए या फिर except वाले questions, these are always tricky questions. So if you see all 4 questions are of such type, even though the passage is easy to read, the questions might be tricky. So it should be a combination of both. So see that the questions as well as the passage. One common mistake that people do in RCs is they try to understand the passage, right? Do not focus on what is written in the passage. Focus on why the author has written the passage. Okay, you do not have to become some science expert or philosophy expert, okay, or some historian by reading a passage or 4 passages in just 40 minutes. You just need to understand why has the author written it, right? Why is he using giving this example? Okay. For that, you need to understand the structure of the passage. That is the author describing something. Is the author comparing two theories? Right? It could be a scientific theory. It could be some philosophies. Is the author presenting a solution to some problem? Right? Is it some cause effect based? So try to understand the structure. So that is why it is important to understand why the author has written rather than understanding what is written in the passage. So if you understand the why, then probably you can answer the questions. It many a times there are questions like the author presents the example of this to state that. Okay, so why is the author presenting the example? So understanding those is important. The doable questions are usually main idea. If you can capture the gist reading the first few lines, the conclusion, etc., you get a main idea. Then fact based questions, if direct facts are presented, you can just go to that particular paragraph, from that pick those facts which are relevant and answer them. Structure based are usually like if they say what is the role of third paragraph, okay, and why does the author use this. Let's say some author has used something to compare certain things, so those are all structure based. Tone based questions, fewer, they are seldom asked, but it is vocab based and all, so that also can be done. Inference based double negatives, except, these kind of questions are quite tricky and you will find a good number of them. So be careful in choosing the questions. Okay, now there are some theta questions. Last year there were just parajumbles. Might be possible that the odd one out are again back to the paper. So attempt all those theta questions. Okay, in the para summary, ensure that all main points are covered. Okay, so if you are attempting those questions, see that whatever the main points, write the summary, like just jot down the important points and see that all, because the options are close. Okay, so ensure that those points are covered. Leave some VA questions for the end. Why I'm telling this is, let us say 35 minutes are over, you have 5 minutes left. Okay, and there is one RC, complete RC to be done. Okay, now in that scenario, you will not be able to attempt that complete RC because RC will take more time. Okay, rather than that, if you have, let us say, 4 VA questions left, or 3 or 4 VA questions, you can still attempt those VA questions in the end. So do not attempt all the VA questions in the beginning itself. Leave some for the end, because just in case you are left with a shorter time, let's say 3 or 4 minutes. So if you have a choice between RC and VA, you are going to attempt VA in that scenario. Okay, so just keep this in mind. This is just a hack to improve your performance. Maybe you get one or two questions also correct, that can impact a lot, rather than going for an RC in the end. क्योंकि हो सकता है आपने RC तो पढ़ लिया, क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट नहीं कर पाए. So it is advisable to attempt VA questions in the end, because you will not regret. Let's say 4 questions, you are able to attempt just two. You will not regret attempting the. I mean, you will have less regret as compared to attempting an RC. Because if you attempt an RC, you will read the passage, 4 क्वेश्चन एक भी नहीं कर पाए. बट VA कर रहे होते तो एटलीस्ट एक दो तो अटेम्प्ट कर लेते. Okay, so it is a better strategy to leave some VA questions for the end, so that whenever you have less time left, you can attempt those with less panic. If you are attempting RCs, then you will be panicking more, because आपको ये भी रहेगा passage भी पढ़ना है और answer भी देना है. So that's a good strategy to adopt. Now there are no breaks. As soon as 40 minutes get over, you need to switch, right? Just forget what happened in VA, RC, and just move on to the DILR section. Now in DILR, be prepared for anything. Okay, if you see the past year papers, compare one paper with the next year's paper, there is no correlation, right? It is not certain that such kind of a question will be asked or not asked. So it can be anything, everything that could be asked. So just be prepared for all things. In the beginning, quickly scan the sets and see that what is there is a question paper button in the bottom. Okay, so take the official mock. Here they have a question paper button. Like here you have the submit and all those, right? Next, next, next. यहाँ पे question paper button होता है. You can click on that, so that all this instead of doing next, next, next here, you will be able to see the entire paper. So see that what is set 1, set 2, set 3 and set 4, and just decide which one to start with. Okay, so based on your competencies, and you see the amount of data given, let us say you are good with some number based problems, so you can see that okay, this is the set that you are going to attempt first. Okay, generally the graph based questions are easy, not necessarily always, but mostly if you see the past few years data, graph based questions are doable as compared to the puzzles that you get, wherein you have information and you need to uh, develop that into a tabular form. Okay, so try to tackle these. If you get, just go through them and see that if they are doable, actually doable in the exam. Please solve the sets for a certain duration and then check questions. Let's say you solved a set for 7-8 minutes, then ensure that you check the questions also. Sometimes what might happen is you have solved partially and you do not need to solve the set completely to answer some of the questions. Maybe 2 questions out of 5 you can solve by partially solving the set. So आपने 10 मिनट किया, 10 मिनट में आपके 2 क्वेश्चन बन रहे हैं. So just do those 2 questions and move ahead, instead of wasting 20-25 minutes to attempt all 5 questions. Okay, because sometimes what happens is in the initial scan, your judgment may not be right. ठीक है, होता है, आप सोचते हो कि अरे ये सही होगा, but it turns out to be that is more difficult. So other set might turn out to be easy, so you never know. Okay, so it is uh, important to go through all the sets and this is how you can like solve them partially and then move ahead. Switch between the sets to maximize attempts. Like in the previous some video also I mentioned that it is important to switch in the sense, like let's say you attempted 3 questions and then you decided कि बाकी दो में you need extra information or heavy calculations, so avoid that and then attempt some other set. That shuffling between the sets ensures that you are able to uh, reach all the sets and try to do more questions. Okay, so this is an important thing to do. And then there will be some sets that have questions starting with if, that suggests that there must be multiple cases or arrangements. Such sets are generally difficult. Okay, so if you see, like if a set has questions like if, so it means the data they have given is not complete. But if such statements are not given, you see that none of the options is cannot be determined, so that means that set is completely doable one. Okay, doable in the sense that you will not get unique, you will get unique values and you would be able to answer them. Okay, and ensure that rough work is neat, so you'll get some sheets over there. So solve like one set if you're solving, because as I said that you will be switching between the sets. Okay, that's up to you, like if you wish to continue with the same set, you can do that, but what I generally do is I switch between the sets. I read the initial information, draw some mind map and then draw some table, and then realize okay, this is something which is going to take time, so I will come back to it later. So ensure that the rough work is neat, so that like you can come back to the set and solve it later. And what I recommend is carry pens of different colors. That's what I generally do. So like although it is written that they will provide the pen, okay, but you can carry and see that if they allow to you, that makes that's a small hack that you can apply. Because if you have two different pens, that makes the rough work clear, right? तो अगर आपको एक केस आप मान लो ब्लैक पेन से लिख रहे हो, okay, and other one with, so you write some case one with black pen and case two with blue pen, it becomes easy to distinguish between the two. Okay, so ऐसे solve कर लोगे, so that looks neat, right? As I said that the in DILR especially, because you have to revisit at times, so that makes slight difference. Now again, as soon as you finish DILR, just do not worry about it, जैसा भी गया, जितने भी question attempt हो पाए, just switch to the quant section and then start attempting it. Okay, so in quant, algebra, arithmetic and geometry are the key areas. Most of the questions are going to be from these topics, so around roughly 80% or even more you can expect from these three areas. Revise the concepts like percentage, fraction, conversion, simple interest, compound interest. Just understand what they are. Okay, just revise them. Do not attempt too many questions of these. Algebra, logarithmic rules, very important, because more or less every year they ask a question on logarithm. So properties will help you attempt those. Okay, quadratic equations, sum and product of roots, nature of roots, etc. Modulus, that you should understand this graphs. You should have a basic understanding of these things. Okay, IMGM inequality series, etc. You are bound to get questions from these topics. Geometry, just revise theorems related to triangles and circles, formulae for 2D and 3D mensuration. Sometimes they ask questions on mensuration and students are unable to attempt them because they forget the formulae for them. And Pythagorean triplet again is going to be helpful in some topics like rhombus, wherever there are right angles involved, Pythagorean triplets help. Now I'm going to tell you a 2020 strategy to attempt quant. How should you go about attempting quant? Okay, so in the first 20 minutes, target 11 questions. Okay, question number, because sometimes in each some questions, easy questions might be in the beginning, in the end, you never know. So first 20 minutes target easy questions, 11 questions, and then the next 20 minutes also target 11 questions. How do you go about it? Is like, see question number one. Okay, how do you define easy questions, moderate or difficult? Okay, that depends on few factors. Like first is your topic level comfort. So, suppose let us say there is a question on profit loss. ठीक है, so now you know कि profit loss आपको अच्छे से आता है. ठीक है, so topic will give you one factor. How do you define easy, moderate, difficult? Let us say अगर कोई topic है modulus and you are not well prepared for the topic, so you know that it is going to be a difficult question for you. Okay, similarly let's say if there is some logarithm and you have not prepared that, so that might be a difficult one. And on the other side, if you have prepared those well, that might be an easy one. Okay, then the length of the question, of course algebra questions will not be lengthy but might be tricky. But if there's an arithmetic question which is a two-line question, so you know that okay, this is a short one. On the flip side, if it's a long question, you know that it is going to take time to read and understand it. Okay, then the third would be the data that is presented to you, how much information is given. Okay, let's say if time and work says there are three people working, fine, but if they say five people working and some ratio included, some like there are multiple concepts involved in a simple question, single question. So that means that is a complicated question. So see that what is the topic, is it familiar, length. So this you should quickly decide within 10 seconds that how is the question. So if you realize that it is easy question, attempt it. Easy को attempt करना है, ठीक है. Now if you realize within 10 seconds that it is not easy, okay, just see that whether it is moderate or difficult. Moderate again and difficult will depend on these things: unfamiliar topic, new kind of question structure which you have never seen. So if you watched my quant marathon, I told you that there will be certain questions from the topics you know कि अच्छा इस तरह के question देखे मैं. If it is completely new, you have to, it makes you think. Okay, एक तो ऐसा होता है कि आपको सीधे पता है टाइम एंड वर्क का क्वेश्चन है कि एक पर्सन ए पहले दिन काम कर रहा है, बी दूसरे दिन काम कर रहा है, तीसरे दिन सी कर रहा है. सो यू नो दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव डन इन द पास्ट. So if you have not done something in the past, do not try that instantly because that might be moderate or difficult. Okay, easy को attempt करना है, moderate को like you mark for later. Okay, and difficult को you need to leave. So this way, in the first 20 minutes, just move ahead. So once you have attempted all the easy questions, ठीक है, 11 में से 2-3 तो minimum easy हो ही जाएंगे, ठीक है. Now once you have easy attempted all the easy questions, then move on to the moderate questions. Okay, within that also you can categorize, like so you can write 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 11. Let's say आपने 1 2 3 4 5 6, आपने क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 देखा, आपने देखा है मॉडरेट है, यू लीव इट, यू गो टू द सेकंड क्वेश्चन, यू थॉट दैट इज इजी, अटेम्प्ट इट. Third question difficult, you leave it, you say that you are not going to attempt it in the paper. Only in the case you have attempted easy and moderate ones. Okay, then you saw moderate, then moderate, then easy. Okay, difficult, moderate, easy. So आपने क्या करना है, सेकंड वाला अटेम्प्ट करना है, इन दोनों को मार्क करके, सब मार्क करके अटेम्प्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 7. Okay, then leave 8 and 9 because you are saying that these are difficult, you are not going to touch them or see them again. Okay, unless you have attempted the moderate ones, then you attempt the easy question. You did 3 questions. Okay, now you know that okay, I have 1 4 5 6 and 10 available with me. Now if you feel that okay, you can attempt question number 1, attempt it. Okay, if you can attempt 4, now also think that, like see, initial assumption easy moderate difficult can go a bit wrong also. Okay, so sometimes it might happen that some questions appear easy in the beginning. So ensure that if you are attempting a question, if you feel after spending 1 minute on a question you are heading nowhere, you realize कि कुछ तो missing है या कुछ ऐसा नया लग रहा है, so avoid that question. Okay, the art of leaving matters. Okay, that's how people are, that's why people are not able to attempt much in quant, because I've seen students who are good in quant, right, they know the concepts well, but they are not able to attempt more because they do not know when to leave. So decide fast that after 30-45 seconds, if you realize that you are not able to click that, do not break your head here. That is the ego that you need to get rid of during the examination. Now in the first 20 minutes, as soon as you see realize 20 minutes are over, leave those questions because the other pool of 11 questions might have more easy questions or more doable questions as compared to the first one. So repeat the same strategy in the last 20 minutes. So 20 minutes, 11 questions, just break down that into 11 and you will see that you will be able to attempt more questions. So I wish you all the best for CAT, right? So just go with an open mindset. Do not target any score. ठीक है, कोई टारगेट लेके नहीं चलना कि मुझे 8 क्वेश्चन करने हैं, इसमें 10 करने 5 करने. जस्ट ट्राई टू गिव योर बेस्ट, मैक्सिमाइज योर स्कोर. DILR में 2 सेट बन गए, बहुत अच्छी बात है. एक ही बना, डू नॉट ओवर अटेम्प्ट अननेसेसरली. ओके, इफ यू कैन attempt that. If you feel that the paper is easy, try attempting more. Okay, if you feel paper is difficult, do not panic, attempt as much as you can. Okay, so do not go by that any number in your head ki mujhe itne attempt karna hai. Okay, so wish you all the best. And on the day of CAT, I'll be doing the exam analysis. 10:30 a.m. the first shift ends. I will do the analysis from the center, taking feedback of students. Okay, so please do watch that to get the idea. Slash shift 2 or 3 वालों को पता चल जाएगा किस तरह का पेपर आया, if any new kind of questions, etc etc. at 2:30 p.m. I myself will be completing the paper, and then I'll be giving the analysis. So that is going to be the most genuine one, uh, telling that how was the structure of the paper, what you can expect from this year's paper. And shift 3 I'll conduct at 7 p.m. by taking feedback of my students who are going to appear on the examination. Okay, so please do subscribe to the channel and don't forget to watch these analysis videos in just in case you are curious what happened in the examination. And I hope you don't get this, but if you know someone who is preparing for CAT 2024, okay, so you can tell them about MBA Karo. And till 30th November we are offering discount on this. You can get 20% discount by using code early 24 if you enroll by then. Okay, so the batch will start in December, so that the people who are preparing for 2024 can start early. That gives an advantage because you have more time to revise for the exam. Please do subscribe to the channel for great content on the other MBA examinations, upcoming MBA exams. We'll be conducting some sessions for the same as well. So wish you all the best for CAT. So keep in mind that you print the admit card on time and ensure that everything is fine. Reach the center on time. Keep in mind the strategies that I discussed section wise, what you should be doing on the day of the examination, how to maximize your attempt. And as I said again, that do not target any score or number of attempts, just maximize whatever you can do. Okay, so when you do not have any pressure like that to attempt an x number of questions, you tend to do good on the examination day. So all the best for CAT.